What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? Let us fire it up. I'm going to get so owned in this game. It's time that we get to the Steam Top 50 and seeing what the latest trends are. Gary's mod. There's TF2. It's usually around somewhere. Woo! Oh, snakes. Does it just have really high retention? This genre is still viable. Oh, you just gotta shoot his butt. There was kind of a trend for a while. Like that is just the way things work. We did it! What is up, everybody? Indeed. Welcome back to the Clark Tank. Good to see you all. It's working out that we do this every 3 weeks because there's always lots of stuff to talk about. Like, let's get started. There's a bunch of stuff to get to before we actually do our homework. Reggie is retiring, which is sad, but, and then Doug Bowser. So I've heard that Doug Bowser has been with Nintendo for a long time, so it's not like somebody who just changed their last name to Bowser. So yeah, lots of people have been talking about the whole Bowser thing. I don't know if this image is doctored or what, but like, thank you for the warm welcome. I assume this is Doug Bowser. And then he's got Mario and Luigi tied up with a GameCube controller back there. But yes, thank you for your years of service, Reggie. Much appreciated. And yeah, it's cool that now indies can be a part of the Nintendo world with the Switch. You know, it was possible before, but it was much harder. And it wasn't as financially viable as it is now. So it's a big shift, and it's been a big boost for us, and I know for a lot of other indies too. So thank you for your work on that. Another awesome thing that happened just this week was a new trailer from our friends at Red Hook about Darkest Dungeon 2. Teasing it. Let's watch it.
The Flame.
Ah, such a good voice. Obviously, they didn't reveal very much there, but yeah, that trailer was pretty great. Obviously, getting people excited just hearing the narrator's voice again. I'm always curious to see how indie sequels do, because we've talked about it a lot, and it seems like most of them kind of struggle, and some of them do succeed, so we've been trying to find patterns. We almost played Lethal League previous couple Clark Tanks previous, because Lethal League 2, I mean, because it was a relatively successful indie sequel, which is somewhat rare. Previously, I thought that if somebody completes your indie game and is left, you know, with the feeling of wanting more, then that probably means that a sequel could do quite well. And I've always felt that Necrodancer, if we made a straight Necrodancer sequel, just straight up Necrodancer 2, like Necrodancer but with different enemies and a different story and different characters and whatnot, I was worried that it wouldn't do especially well because only a very small percentage of people who play Necrodancer actually beat it. It's extremely freaking hard. So, you know, I wonder what the success rate of people completing Darkest Dungeon is. Strax saying 3.1 for the easiest difficulty. That's not very high. Yeah, let's see what Necrodancer is. Okay, so our percent is actually higher then. Alright. So, it's probably somewhat in the same ballpark as Necrodancer, you know, completion percent. The Darkest Dungeon is obviously a very difficult game too. Oh, hey Kit Fox, how are you doing? What are you saying there? We get people asking us for Moonhunters 2 at PAX, but I don't know if it's enough to warrant an actual 2. Yeah, Moonhunters : something could work. Yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking with Necrodancer, and it did. Necrodancer did pretty dang well, and I expect it would make some appreciable percentage of what Necrodancer made, but it might be like 25% or something like that. But, you know, even if we did sell 25%, that would still be quite a lot. Because, yeah, like Kid Fox was saying, you're always going to get fans who come up to you and say, like, you got to make a sequel. I would love the sequel. But yeah, of course your hardcore fans are going to want a sequel. They're, you know, in that 3% that actually beat the game. I've never seen a game with like 500,000 views on its trailer that didn't, you know, succeed and make many millions of dollars. I'm not sure how many millions of dollars is going to be required for Darkest Dungeon 2 to be profitable, but like it's not going to flop. And they've got 500,000 views on YouTube after 3 days, so it's probably going to get to 1 million plus, and that's like getting close to Cuphead territory. So yeah, maybe I was wrong about sequels where people don't actually finish the game and leave, end up having the feeling of wanting more. Or maybe with Darkest Dungeon, even if you don't win, you still want more. But if you wanted more, wouldn't you just play the original game more? So yeah, people want different, and obviously you can tell from that teaser that Darkest Dungeon 2 is going to be different in a number of ways. So I think that is a key factor here. So if we were to do Necrodancer 2 or something, it would need to be not just another version of it that looks similar and plays similar. We need to have more unique stuff than that. Dana saying, I've played many sequels, especially those other games are way too long for an employed adult to finish. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing. Like, if you're a fan of the genre and you enjoy playing it, but you don't have enough time to actually play it all the way through to completion, and then the new one comes out and you want to experience it. So yeah, there's certainly always going to be people who buy the sequel without having completed the original game, but I was just wondering how much of an effect that is, Hype also plays in, yeah, for sure. So that's why I was saying maybe for games that have a large amount of hype, like Darkest Dungeon, Subnautica, Hollow Knight, they're the top tier indie games. Maybe it works because they are able to, generate enough hype that they can get, media articles, streamers and influencers and whatnot tweeting and retweeting their stuff. If you get to that level where people are going to spread the word about your new sequel, because a lot of streamers, tons of them, did finish it. So they, and especially if it went well for them when they were streaming, if their audience liked it, if their numbers were good when they were streaming it, they're going to be hyped about it. So they'd be retweeting it and things like that. So yeah, if you have an indie sequel that's, that really high tier, and I don't think honestly that Necrodancer was quite that high. There were some streamers who played it, some really big ones that played it, but they didn't play it like constantly and master it. Not that many of them beat it because it's dang hard, and also it's really hard to stream. I think Darkest Dungeon is a much better streaming game because you can pause at any time and think and talk, and you can name your party members after your subscribers and things like that. It just has a lot of things going for it. Whereas Necrodancer, like, it's hard to keep the beat. You look stupid. It looks like an easy game to play, but it's not. And it's really hard to talk and do it at the same time. Hey, MegaCrit, how you doing? Valve told you in general they felt indies were underutilizing sequels. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I think for games like yours, like tons of people stream it and YouTube it and things like that, a sequel would certainly make a lot of sense. And your game is really hard, but I don't think it's as hard as Darkest Dungeon or Necrodancer. I can't remember how many hours I played before I beat it. MegaCrit, they're the makers of Slay the Spire, which is an amazing freaking game. Yeah, I'm surprised that Valve would say that. I think a lot of indies are going the DLC route to generate more financial success from games, and yeah, not as much on the sequels. So yeah, I wonder if they have data on it. But what I've seen, there are quite a few indie sequels that don't do well. You don't think Valve sees the ones that don't succeed? Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty that just get buried, unfortunately, and I wonder if they're not considering those. They see the successful ones. Hard to quantify where a first game success was due to novelty versus a sustainable niche. Yeah, exactly. So that's one of my fears with Necrodancer, that we made a game where it's like dungeon crawling rhythm game. Everybody's like, that can't possibly work, and then all the reviews say, it works, it's really fun. So yeah, if we do it again, we're not going to have that shock factor. But I don't think that Darkest Dungeon really is relying on the shock factor. It's the content and the gameplay that people are there for. I do think Necrodancer's content and gameplay are good too, but we certainly had more of like a surprising twist that we can't surprise them with that again. Sarah Northway, you think that indies are underusing sequels? Yes, well, you did have a lot of success with your sequels. So Sarah made Rebuild 1 and 2 and 3. Did they do better and better and better for you, Sarah? Sarah saying you branched out from browser to mobile to Steam, and they were bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, it's certainly possible. I like talking about it. It's awesome to have so many of you who've made sequels or considering sequels in the chat so that we can analyze it, because, yeah, I think a lot of indies want to make sequels, but it's scary. because quite a few of them do flop. So yeah, good to have more data. Hopefully we can keep doing this every time indie sequels come out, and we'll get a better and better handle on why they work and why they don't. So looking forward to your launch, Red Hook folks. I don't think, other than the massive Darkest Dungeon teaser, what's happened since the last Clark Tank? Well, a little game called Apex Legends came out. It seemed like for a long time that, you know, Fortnite was unassailable, and you know, Epic was just taking over the industry and things, and I'm sure it's still doing extremely well. But it's funny how quickly Apex was able to grow, and kind of came out of nowhere and grabbed a really big audience. So yeah, it's easy to switch Battle Royale games, Strack. That's a good point. So yeah, we've talked about this before, how if you're going to enter a market, if you're trying to figure out, you know, is this market viable, you should always look at the size of the market. You know, are there enough people in there, you know, in total? You know, because if your market size is 10,000 people or something like that, that's probably not enough for your game to be viable, unless your game to be profitable, unless your game is extremely small. So, you know, obviously the market for Battle Royale games is gigantic. But the other factor you have to consider is, like, how monogamous are those gamers? You know, how hard is it going to be to get them to switch? So I do think that with MOBAs and stuff, it's quite difficult to get them to switch. Because, man, games like Dota, there's just so much knowledge you need to have about, you know, all the intricacies of the game. And then also you play with, you know, a group of friends, and they also have all that knowledge and built-up skill, which is not really transferable to other MOBAs. It's somewhat transferable. I'm sure a good MOBA player would transfer to another MOBA more quickly than a total noob to the genre. I think the competitive moat there for MOBAs is larger. But yeah, Battle Royale games, if it's, you know, you're running around shooting folks, and the similar sorts of mechanics for, you know, how you... how the combat area shrinks and things like that, then yeah, you're going to be able to transfer your skills and bring your friends over pretty quickly. So that does mean that this genre, even though it's like such a massive one in the market, we could see pretty quick movements. So yeah, and we did see that already with Fortnite itself, right? Because prior to that, it was PUBG, and then Fortnite made their Battle Royale, and boom. So yeah, I guess that's actually really good news if you are a Battle Royale fan, because that means, you know, this Fortnite first, then Apex showed that if you make a cool new twist on the genre, you can attract a lot of fans. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Tetris 99. I'm not sure how many of you in the chat are playing it. I've played it, I don't know, I played it for maybe like 4 or 5 hours now. It's really fun. Pretty much everybody knows how to play Tetris, right? So it's just a unique twist on the game that you already understand. And I think it's an interesting thing for Nintendo to do, because this game wouldn't require that much programming effort. I don't mean to downplay, you know, any game is difficult to make, but, you know, obviously this is way less than making something like Apex. But it got the internet a buzz. I see lots of people tweeting about it, talking about it, and playing it online. But yeah, you need to have the Nintendo Online service in order to play it. So I already have Smash Ultimate, and that's like, I play that a lot, and so I have the online service for that. So it's no big deal for me, but I know some other folks at the office here don't have it and may have picked it up just so that they could play Tetris 99. So it's a cool sort of gateway drug, and it's free, so you don't have to pay for it, right? So it's free, but you need to get the online service in order to get it. So, but yeah, it's a cool marketing ploy, and I think it just generated a lot of goodwill too to give away such a fun game for free. So another thing, thank you, Reggie. Yeah, I saw this just before we went live with the Clark Tank here. If you're not aware of Baba Is You should go and you can, at least you used to be able to play the IGF version of it. It was a super cool, innovative game, but they just announced that it's coming out on March 13th, like the final version of it. So I haven't even watched this yet. Let's check out the trailer of Baba Is You. Whoa. Wow, changing a whole bunch of things at once. All is empty. Yeah, you just basically break the rules of the game in order to get to the flag. And it feels so satisfying when you figure out those things, and even just messing around in the world, not even trying to get to the goal, but just seeing what happens when you mix up different words and things is really fun. So yeah, I like puzzle games like that. I think the types of puzzle games where there's a certain number of permutations that you can go through. If there's a billion permutations, then puzzle games can be, you know, it can be still fun, but you could get stumped more easily. The games that have done really well these days, puzzle games like Monument Valley or Framed on mobile, have been the ones where there's a kind of a smaller number of possible permutations. Like Monument Valley, you're spinning things around, and there's only 4 ways you can spin this thing and 4 ways you can spin that, and so there's only a certain number of combinations, right? And Baba Is You is somewhat similar in that you can only arrange the words a certain number of ways, and just by experimenting, you learn new stuff about what you can do to the world. So yeah, it feels pretty good to me. That type of thing, you don't get stumped for long. You learn, and when you get the good result, it feels really satisfying. So yeah, it seems like modern puzzle games that do well have that in common. And yeah, Baba Is You's got it for sure. So yeah, next up, we're going to talk about, this is a tool that Harbor Pirate made for us. We were talking, I think on the last Clark Tank, about followers and how followers on Steam is a piece of information that we have about games before they launch that we can use to, get a handle on how successful or unsuccessful they may be at launch. And so we were talking about, well, what kind of tools would make it easier for us to test our assumptions and, sort of create new formulas about, related to followers, so that we'd be able to predict how well our games are doing and how well other games are going to do based on their followers data. So, yeah, Harbor made one here. So what it's doing is it's tracking games that released on any given day, and then tracking for the first 7 days how many followers they have. And now I think that this can be very useful, but this isn't quite what I had in mind, actually, Harbor. What I was expecting was that the day before the game launched, we would want to know how many followers it had before, and then after we would kind of want to track how many reviews it had on like after the first 7 days, because that's somewhat of a proxy, like using the box Slater method, somewhat of a proxy for how successful that game's launch was. And, and similar for maybe after 30 days or something like that, it would be nice to know how many reviews there were after 30 days. So then we could look back later and see, okay, this game it had like 30,000 followers or something like that. So, and it did really well. So, if you have a certain level of followers, your game is quite likely to, be a hit and be in the top charts. Or maybe even be able to do something like Jake Burkett did with his wish lists to, sales formulas. If you could say, like, for every follower, you're going to get X number of sales in the first week or the first month or something like that. That sort of thing would be really useful for us. And the reason why we want to have more pre-launch data, predictive data, is so that when we as indies, if we put up a coming soon page for our store, and we start collecting wish lists and followers and things like that, you'll be able to predict at least somewhat how successful your game is likely to be. Because yeah, you don't want to be in that situation where you spend 5 years on your game and launch it and it flops. At least this way, if you had your coming soon page for a while, you'd be able to get some information on their followers and wish lists, and use that to help you decide, are things going well? Is it likely to succeed? If so, maybe you can scale it up. And if things are not going well, maybe you want to scale it down. Or if it's going really poorly, you're getting no followers at all, then maybe you need to cancel. Things like that could help prevent a lot of indie catastrophes where people mortgaging their houses and it doesn't go well, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, Harbor, I appreciate you doing this for sure. It's close to being the sort of thing that we're after, and it's already useful in different ways. So yeah, we can check out some of these games. I imagine we're going to see a few of them when we get to the Steam Top 50 stuff. But I've heard people talking on Twitter about this game, Devotion. So let's check out the trailer. Devotion's previous game, Detention, also did very well. Yes. Whoa. Yeah, that is, holy smokes, 4,000 reviews in 3 days. Yeah, probably not for me either. I don't really like spooky stuff, but it just looks extremely well made. Yeah, horror things seem to do reasonably well on Steam too, and this looks like an extremely polished one from a known developer. So yeah, that's Devotion. Alright, Yakuza Kiwami. Is this related to the Yakuza games? Yeah, Kid Fox, it is weird that Yakuza games are ridiculous, but they don't really show it too much. Oh, there's a bit of the ridiculousness. It's a remake of Yakuza 1. Ah. Pretty good trailer, pretty good trailer. Wow, how does it only have 173 reviews? It came out 3 days ago, just like Devotion. That's quite surprising. And the review scores are high, 94%. I wonder what's up with this. Weird. Anybody have theories about why this is not selling so well? It had a lot of followers. 30,000 followers is quite a lot. Most Yakuza game fans already bought it on PS4, I suppose. It is a console game. Huh. Alright, well let's do one more of these before we... Oh, and we'll also do Bannermen, because that's what we're going to play today. So Battle Royale is a game we actually played on the Clark Tank a long time ago. Now they have a Battle Royale game, of course.
This is gonna be a
like, why do they always have to parachute in? Can't people come up with a... You know... There are game design objectives that you know, achieves. Can you not achieve those objectives with another mechanism so that it's not just like straight up copying known Battle Royale tropes? Mixed reviews. Yeah, so was it early access before? It was. It went free to play this week. Oh, I see. Alright, well let's watch the trailer for Bannermen, even though I do... Okay, let's watch Steins Gate. I like Steins Gate, the anime. I don't know if any of you are fans, but I haven't actually played any of the games. I'm not really into visual novel-y games with lots of reading. First it was the visual novel, then it was the anime, and now they're using the footage from the anime in a game. Yeah, I wonder if people, if they were not already fans of the anime, would they buy this based on this trailer? I don't know. I'm not a good critique of visual novel stuff because I don't really play them, so it's hard for me to say, wow, it's expensive. You can get the whole bundle for a mere 131 Canadian dollars. Alright, so let's check out Bannermen and then we'll get going with our homework. So Bannermen we're going to play at the end of the stream today. The reason why is, well, because it's selling well, reasonably well, but also because, oh, they did the thing where they show their logos after like 10 seconds, which I think is smart. So it's a real-time strategy adventure, is that what that said? You know, straight up old-school RTS games don't seem to do that well these days in the current story-driven single-player campaign. I feel like MOBAs kind of ate their lunch, regular sort of RTS games. But if you take the RTS genre and twist it a bit, make it a story adventure, then perhaps it works. Wait a minute, how does it have no user reviews? It was in the charts. But yeah, let's get to checking out the Steam Top 50, see what's selling and why. So PUBG, despite Apex, despite Fortnite, still always at the top of the charts. I haven't had a game at the top of the charts in a while, like we did with Necrodancer briefly. But, you know, as of a few years ago, and from talking to other devs, you know, the #1 position should make you, you know, a minimum of about 200k a day. And, you know, the sky's the limit above that. But in general, I think that's what you'd be doing. So, you know, PUBG is still raking it in. CSGO, usually somewhere near the top. So Devotion, which we checked out, #3, and pretty steady. There's no like China, you know, spike and then dip or something like that. It's pretty cheap for what seemed like a pretty high quality game. Only $16.99. Devotion has a good price point, yeah, for sure. It's makes it kind of a no-brainer if you're into that genre. That is pretty cheap. Rainbow Six Siege is usually around here somewhere. And Darkest Dungeon, did they have it on sale? Looks like it's starting to taper off, so I wouldn't be surprised if they had it on sale because of the teaser trailer. So they generated a lot of awareness from the teaser trailer and capitalized on it, which is smart. I saw them in the charts a few days ago as well. Dota 2, Auto Chess Rising Up, Eclipsed. Have any of you played the Auto Chess mod? I wonder what this bump is from. Dying Light up here because it's on sale. Far Cry New Dawn came out a week ago. Doing pretty good, only 40 bucks. Dragon Quest, this is up here because it's on sale. Same with Final Fantasy. Warframe is usually near the top these days. Final Fantasy 14 Online is usually around. GTA is usually around. GTA is lower than usual. Dirt, so this is pre-orders for Dirt. Tomb Raider's here because it's on sale. Elder Scrolls usually around. Same with Rocket League. Ghost Recon's up here because it's on sale. Alright, Jump Force. This came out since the last Clark Tank. Let's check it out. So if you're into Shonen Jump stuff, this might be a game for you. In Japanese they say Hunter Hunter. Okay, so they don't say the X. Hunter Hunter. Yeah, that trailer looked pretty good. The game looks pretty good if you're a Shonen Jump kind of fan, but yeah, it looks like the reviews are mixed. Yeah, I wonder if it's doing well on consoles and such. It may just not be a great fit for Steam. But still, you know, doing reasonably well after, you know, more than a week after launch, still in the top 20. Black Desert Online's usually around. Resident Evil as well, since it came out recently. Devil May Cry, okay, so these are pre-orders for soon. Tomb Raider is on sale, Just Cause on sale, Path of Exile is usually around. Not a ton of new stuff in here. I wonder where Bannermen is, if it's going to be in here. This is on sale. Monster Hunter World is usually around. War Thunder and Smite 2. Yalcia 3 is on sale. Astroneer, so it 1.0'd, right? It 1.0'd, and so doing well since then. Deus Ex is on sale. Hearts of Iron. Now, back when we Clark Tanked a long time ago, it was always in the charts. I wonder if the fact that it's here indicates that kind of the chart is a bit weaker right now. Same with Skyline, same with Dead by Daylight. There might just not be a ton of competition right now in the charts, so these ones are kind of getting pushed up. Let's check out Foundation. Any kind of city builder, strategy sim game I think is viable these days. Obviously, we are making Industries of Titan, so we think that it's a viable genre. Unique gridless experience. So that is a selling point. It makes really satisfying looking towns and stuff. It looks a lot more organic and real. So yeah, I would like to play this. It's a good choice. I would have made it a little shorter. They had some pretty impressive shots of the castle and things like that. How long do you estimate it'll be a viable genre, Razzle? That's a good question. Well, I think part of the reason why it's so viable on Steam, it may be partly because this type of game doesn't work that well on console. It's hard, you know, with the controller. You know, mouse and keyboard is much better. But yeah, I don't see it declining. You know, most games that come out in this genre, if they have reasonable review scores, are doing quite well. I think the type of people that like this sort of game, you know, it's sort of an underserved niche. I don't think that the type of people that like this sort of game are going away. It's quite different from most other types of games. The player fantasy and stuff that it gives you is a bit different. And yeah, there's not a ton of competition, partly because it's actually quite hard. As we're finding out making Industries of Titan, we knew it would be hard, but it's pretty difficult to make a city builder or sim strategy game. But yeah, Foundation looks good. It's good to see it doing well. Bodes well for us and Titan that the genre is still going strong. And yeah, there are simpler ones like Kingdoms and Castles and stuff that have done extremely well despite being simpler, right? So it doesn't have to be a huge, complex game. Kingdoms and Castles visuals are much simpler than Foundation's, and it did extremely well at launch. So NBA 2K19 is usually around somewhere despite its horrible reviews. Just Cause is here because it's on sale. Same with Starpoint Gemini Warlords. Euro Truck Simulator, why are you in here? This is the one from 2012. I wonder if it went on sale, but it declined and then came back. I'm not sure. TF2 is usually around. Stardew is often around. Again, this is another indication that maybe the charts are a bit weak right now. Arc, yeah, I think that the charts might be a bit weak because some of these games you don't typically see in the charts, and there's not too much new in here. Sekiro coming out soon, so this is pre-orders. Tomb Raider is on sale. Rust, again, this, you know, was pushed off the charts until recently. Night in the Woods for Honor, Scythe Digital Edition, all on sale. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. I don't recall seeing this before either. Looks like it's dropped off. Fate Extella. So this is another anime. So there's a trend of anime games getting into the charts. And this is just pre-orders. House Flipper did well when it came out a little while ago. It's back in because it's on sale. Shadowverse CCG, Monster Prom. You might have just finished the sale as well. Forest is usually around. Subnautica, I'm a little surprised to see this has dropped so quickly. Let's see how many reviews they've got. Because the original Subnautica, although I suppose the original Subnautica strength came from all of their updates and things like that, and it sort of grew and grew and grew, so I hope that we'll see similar for Subnautica Below Zero. I imagine they're updating it actively. Well, that's, you know, that's a lot of reviews in 3 weeks, so it's still doing extremely well. Battletech's in here because it's on sale. RimWorld, yeah, see, World of Warships. It seems strange that some of these games that were pushed out of the charts are back. I think there just hasn't been a lot of great competition lately. Pro Evolution Soccer, and here's Bannermen, which we just saw and we're going to play. When I checked the charts yesterday, I think it was in the top 20 or so. So it's having a pretty good launch, not an insanely strong launch. The price point's a bit high. And Life is Strange 2 is in here because it's on sale. So yeah, Bannerman, does it have any reviews yet? Nope. Still no reviews. Alright, so we're also going to check out the Steam top wish lists just to see what's coming up and what people are hyped about. The new Anno. So yeah, that's another example of, you know, sim strategies type games doing well. Imperator Rome. Oh yeah, is this the one from Square? Yeah. I'm surprised it's not higher. Mountain Blade 2. Did this just come out? Did this just get a coming soon page? Because I would expect that to be higher as well. Mortal Kombat, Tropico, Age of Wonders. Alright, here's Forager. So Forager is still growing. And remember we've talked about how Hopfrog. Oh, there's Hopfrog in the chat. You had a great wishlist week. Yeah, sure. If you got numbers to share, please share them. I think we're close to 140k wishlists now on Titan. Merch and another beta Hopfrog. That's what you announced. That's cool. Here's Forager in the charts, and Titan. We're usually around these sorts of areas. Flotsam, I think we looked at a while ago. Razzle, you have a question for Ryan? Anyone else who's a dev? When do you trademark your game's name? Yeah, you can trademark it before, which we have done. But then you have to like renew it. I can't remember the exact terminology for it, but until it actually goes on sale, you have to keep renewing your intent to actually sell it. And I think you can renew a certain number of times, so you can't just like endlessly delay and just camp on that trademark even though you're not actually offering a product. So yeah, we do it pretty early and just keep renewing. Why not? You don't want someone after you've announced the name of your game to start, you know, challenging your trademark. So the sooner the better. Outward, what's this? Does it not have a trailer? So Hollow Knight Silksong is doing pretty well. So yeah, they only put this up recently. It's already close to Titan and to Forager. Okay, let's check out The Sinking City and Outward. So what kind of game is this? Live a true adventurer's life. So it's a survival game? So I'm not sure what the hook of this really is. Alright, procedural survival game that you can co-op. Outward. Huh. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, check out the entire Deep Silver franchise on Steam. Because I was like, yeah, it doesn't seem like if somebody just launched that, that it would work. Sinking City, that's what it was. Alright, what's this about? Oh, is it Cthulhu tentacles? What just happened? Spiders and tentacles. Sky Ocean. Sky Bar. Upside down bar. Some of it's on the ceiling, some of it's not. Oh man, it's a Escher bar. Oh, his eyes did the thing like a nictitating membrane. Side blink. The Sinking City. Okay, I was not convinced before. You know, it's like more Cthulhu stuff, yada yada, but that seemed pretty cool actually. Yeah, no idea what the game is, that's true. What is gameplay? This doesn't even say what it is. You're just a private investigator, you know? Alright, let's keep on rolling here. We still got a lot to do today. So, the Steam charts, we check out what's new and trending, in case we missed something. Hell Warders. Action indie casual? Strategy? RPG? What? Those words do not go together very often. Let's see. Alright, you know, you got eyeballs. Got your eyeballs. You casual eyeballs. Okay, so it's like one of those tower defense where you get to be a person. Oh, you place them manually. This game doesn't seem so casual to me. It looks like it could be fun. I do love me some tower defense games. They are fun. Alright, what else is new? Yakuza, we were talking about Devotion, we were talking about War of Omens card game. Not casual? Alright, let's check this out. War of Omens. I don't think I'll ever get tired of card games, but I play, you know, Magic Arena and stuff, so... Yeah, that trailer was not easy to understand what was going on there. And yeah, the UI design was interesting. And still it's got 31 reviews. Alright, Enderall Forgotten Stories. Adventure RPG action open world. Let's check this out. It's a free play. Let's check this out and then we'll move on. Enderall's a Skyrim total conversion mod? Oh, and it's free.
And yet,
interesting.
so very.
This is a bit long. Yeah, that's a labor of love. If they're making that available for free, they take donations. Okay. So yeah, the Hypsogram. How many games are coming out on Steam this week? Sometimes when we see things like this, it's an anomaly because it's unlikely that there was actually 65 games one day when usually the average is like in the 20s. And yeah, this seems low. All right, let's look at Harbor's graph. Okay, so this is way low compared to last year. So this pale color is 2019 and red is 2018. So yeah, we're almost... We've dropped back to like the old era of Greenlight, basically, before Direct, and we're back to those numbers. And yeah, it kind of makes sense because what we were seeing in the top charts there wasn't a lot of new competition, and we've been away for 3 weeks, so it's a bit of a slow 3 weeks. There's a lull. There isn't usually this drop. Why was there this drop? In the last few years, there was not such a thing. It's just always like around the winter sale, it's low, and then it comes back out of it. But there was a big spike. Yeah, I do recall last week it looked like, or last Clark Tank, there was quite a bit of action. Yeah, so people talking about, you know, a flood of garbage and stuff on Steam, I don't buy it. I don't know. I think it's pretty reassuring that it didn't just keep exponentially going up like a lot of people feared, and in fact it's back to 2018 or 2017 levels. So yeah, this is what's on Steam, and we use this to check out little 6-second snippets of trailers of games that have been recently launched on Steam, basically just to get a sense for, you know, the quality of the games that are coming out. What? This is live action. The Pusher. Oh man, is it about like making drugs and selling it? It's like a multiplayer physics-y soccer game. The Soccering. I like it. Everybody likes lasers. Whoa. Huh. Zero gravity. Traps. Alright, Pacify. What is this? Ugh, scary. Ah, scary. Logistical 2. USA, Nevada. What? Many big truck corp... Okay, I want to see the trailer of this. It's crazy. You know, this type of game, you know, The production value is not super high, but the gameplay could be amazing. What is happening? I don't know, it looks like it could be awesome. There are many logistical games, one for every country. Okay, so there's like... You're probably more likely to buy a game like this if it's about your town. It would be cool if, for me living in Vancouver, if it had our streets and our topography and things like that and you were trying to do it. That's an interesting way to get longevity out of your game. Just keep releasing new versions of it, but just for like different locales. Holy smokes. Brazil, Caribbean, they got it different states. All of Earth. Alright, time for the Kickstarter report, and then we're going to play Bannermen. Let's see what's new on Kickstarter since we last Clark tanked. Summer in Mara. What are you about? Whoa, the animation. Super cool. This looks, yeah, it could work well in the current zeitgeist. If the gameplay is there. We're almost there. What? Wow, that was the most unexpected. Already well funded. That's great. Yeah, I think that games like this, certainly, the zeitgeist is right. Alright, Chained Echoes, a 16-bit fantasy RPG with mechs and airships. Whoa. A lot of airships. Okay, so it is JRPG-ish. Yeah. It looks like a nice JRPG with a lot of cool content and stuff, but yeah, what are the twists? So the mechs is kind of unique. Cooking and fishing, yeah, I wasn't totally clear on the fight system stuff. Dropping a chandelier on people seems cool. Yeah, if you're a fan of the genre, it looks awesome. Looks like they're going to get funded too, so congrats to them. I'm super curious about this one. Tower Princess. You got to rescue the princess and date her at the same time. Well, they got lots of awards. Oh, it's a Square Enix collective thing. Where's the dating? I was promised dating. Oh no. Wow. Wow. Alright. Yeah, I was excited for that, and I was not disappointed. The princess stuff seems interesting. I'm not sure if there's as much integration with the princesses and the gameplay as I would like, but it seems like they'll probably get funded. That was entertaining. Very entertaining. Alright, so yeah, one of our Clark Tank friends is making a game called Oi Inkeep, which is a fantasy tavern simulator. So let's check this one out, see how similar or dissimilar it may be. It's pretty high-res graphics. It's real life.
Doświadczenia zdobywałem przede wszystkim w CD Projekcie,
CD Projekt.
którym wydałem przez
Fantasy in Tycoon.
różnych gier. Tym wielkimi
I feel like the Oi Inkeep, well, we should watch the Oi Inkeep trailer after this, that their style is probably better. Like, people who want to play like an innkeeper sort of game, they may not be that serious, I think. It's not like a serious sort of thing to want to run in. It's more of like a side quest sort of a thing to do, but these graphics look quite serious. Let's check out Oi Inkeep. I love all the little touches of things bouncing around and whatnot. Very juicy, everything. And next up, we're going to play some Bannermen. Why we were playing Bannermen? It's because, well, it was in the charts. We were released yesterday or the day before. There weren't too many other games in the charts, but I'm also curious about how RTS-ish games fare on Steam. It feels like they're slightly on the weak side. However, there are some examples, such as Northgard, of games that can do quite well in the genre. So, is this all made-up stuff, or is it based on known IP?
Arthur's brutal warriors were the people's biggest fear.
Guy looks like Sauron.
Conquering lands and raiding and killing everything in sight. The shock was so great that Lord Barry
Ghost fight.
did not notice the dagger.
Uh-oh, but it was a ghost dagger, so it doesn't hurt.
The men got a searing sight that...
Make sure they're all dead before dawn.
We're the bad guys? I don't want to be a bad guy. Well, actually, I do play the orcs in Warcraft.
I've got to get out of here.
Lord Barian, not dead? Can you get stabbed? Or is this just a random grunt?
Yeah.
Can we heal? Mixed reviews? Okay, yeah. So if you... Oh, no. Don't see us. If you... if you scroll down on the game's store page, does it actually show you the reviews? It just doesn't show them up top. So reviews have happened and are findable, but not on the game's store page. Where are you finding them? No, 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 no. This is a weird, like, first mission.
Yeah.
It's for an RTS game, they want you to sneak.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe this is it. This is a long, like, there it is. This is a long, kind of unnecessarily long. 26 reviews, 9 of which are thumbs down. Okay, what are the thumbs down ones saying? Technical issues or gameplay stuff? Because, like, could be gameplay stuff. They branded their upgrade screen? Yeah, that's true. It is a little weird to have the game name and the company name in the upgrade screen. It takes you a little bit out of the immersion. So do we have all of these skills already? Oh.
My men have started to set up walls and rig some traps to be
Okay,
used against
now we're
the wolves.
RTSing. 65% positive, okay. Yeah, what type of stuff are they saying in the negative ones? Yeah, if this guy dies, then we can maybe just use his base and get the golden stuff out of it ourselves, right? Oh, dang it. We had to protect... That was his village? That's not much of a village. Where did this game do its marketing? It's got a fairly high price point with more reviews than most new indie games on Steam. Yeah, Steger, it's a good question. German games media reported on it? Okay, it's German. Cult following in Germany. Oh, RTS games in general just have a cult following? Pre-release version of the game has been on itch for over a year. Oh, interesting. Kind of rough for a game which was in early access for a year? Yeah, a little bit. We're doing a little better. Is this a custom engine? No, I've seen when I first booted it up and then exited afterwards, it crashed with a Unreal Engine crash message. So,
Understood.
Unreal Engine it is. Alright, what were you saying? Can't find any reviews in the English intertubes. Metacritic links none, except one user review, which says, a game that is really stupid at the beginning. It's hard to pass the first mission, even in normal difficult. No one's talked or discussed about this game since early access. Yeah, that first mission was weird, just running around, just avoiding the guards and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the foundations that you've made here are good. You know, most of it was working the way that I expect. I think it's just a bit of the level design and expectations with the stealth stuff that was a bit surprising for me anyway. But yeah, the fact that it's doing reasonably well on Steam is good. And also on the Clark Tank, what we do is try to figure out which genres are viable. And it seems like the RTS genre is still possible. And I wonder if your focus on a story-driven campaign is helping you. So yeah, congrats on the launch. And yeah, for other indies out there, I suppose it is possible to make indie games that RTS games that succeed on Steam, which is cool. It's about time to wrap up this Clark Tank anyhow. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it as usual. Would not learn nearly as much without all of your help. So thanks for tuning in. And thanks again for hanging out, chums. We'll see you next time. This Clark Tank is over.